Traffic 1212. Copy, copy here. Got you loud and clear. Green, all fine.
The Performance Motorsports Network presents Burning Rubber Radio.
Burning rubber, baby.
I know what the tradition is. You don't even have to explain it. And here it is. Burning rubber, baby!
Now, from the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here is your host, Andy DeLay.
Burning rubber, baby. It's that time of day or night whenever you're listening. That's Burning Rubber Radio. Fastest 60 minutes in motorsports. I am your host, Andy DeLay, along beside Wayne Owens and Taylor Burris, ready to do it to it, talk some racing. We're going to talk NASCAR, IndyCar, SRX, and even some of Taylor's go-karting stuff, man. I'm excited, Wayne.
Yeah, buddy, we got a whole bunch of stuff on tap here for tonight on the show. And not only that, we also have from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series coming on with us, Nick Lights, a part-time driver with Young's Motorsports.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. The kid is definitely one of the up-and-comers in the, I always want to say camping world, the Craftsman Truck Series.
Well, hey, look at it this way. I almost botched and pulled a U last week. Actually, speaking of which, Taylor, you know what I just realized? The silver alert finally worked. We got him back this week.
We did. It's about time. I was getting a little nervous.
Yeah, hey, folks, if you're wondering what we're talking about, if you did not get a chance to hear last week's show, Andy was out playing cop since he's a real-life law enforcement officer. And, we went as far as calling the chief of detectives on you. We posted a silver alert. I mean, we couldn't find you nowhere.
Silver alert. Man, you guys are getting a Kentucky howdy right here for your silver alert.
Well, I mean, after all, you got gray in your hair. So...
I mean, we're just stating facts.
Oh, my gosh. The love I feel from my co-hosts are just blowing me away here. Anyway, we also have the NASCAR chef John Dix going to be with us as always tonight. And I heard he's cooking up something donkey balls thing or something.
No,
Again?
No, ironically, it's not balls this week. I looked at it before the show went on the air. It's nothing ballsy this week.
Oh gosh, let's keep this PG. Guys.
You were the one who started it.
Yeah, I mean exactly, Andy. You're the one that started it, so boo on you.
Right, but we got to talk about our sponsors, Monster 3X Concept Lures. Folks, if you want to go fishing in the saltwater, heck, even try them in fresh. I know bass would like it too. Monster 3X Concept Lures, used exclusively by our very own Captain Jeff Vickers from Florida Outdoors on the Tan Talk Network. You may have heard that. And
I can also attest to how good Monster 3X is after this past weekend being down in Florida.
That's right. You went out there and caught some fish out there about 8 miles off the coast with Captain Jeff, right?
Yep, we were about 8 miles off in the Gulf of Mexico there. Monster 3X Concept Lures. Got a chance to get out there. We caught mostly caught a bunch of speck trout while we were out there. A couple of bluefish. Decided to play hell with my line, so that was always fun. And then actually managed to catch a big old fat gag grouper. Andy reminded me of you.
No, I'm sure, man. And you were out there white-knuckled the whole time, just
Nope.
holding on the side of the boat because you swim like a rock, right?
Nope, actually was not holding on to the boat at all. Was sitting right there on the cooler enjoying. Actually got to pop a top and enjoy a cold Coors Light with old Captain Jeff.
Oh, that's cool. He's Captain Coors Light here, man. You know, so
yep,
good on you.
He's like the Duff Man from Simpsons. Oh, man.
He's not gonna like that.
But
Lord.
but we got to talk about one other thing here too, real quick, before we get ready to hit our first foreign fuel of the show here. And that being, I said I was going to embarrass the poor boy a little bit here before we went on the air tonight. And that being that our very own Taylor Burris got himself engaged this past weekend.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And thanks for everyone who gave me the best wishes and everything like that. It's going to be exciting coming up here, and stay tuned for more.
Definitely.
Well, you got yourself a good woman, brother. She's one of, I can't say a bad thing about her.
Nope.
Good job.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yep, some really good stuff all the way across the board there. But with that said here, folks, we are going to step aside. We're going to take our first foreign fuel of the show, and when we come back, we're going to be digging into some news of the week.
Racing isn't easy.
but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I'm Andy DeLay, and you're listening to Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Wayne Owens, Andy DeLay, and Taylor Burris hanging out with you this week on the show. And boys, it is that time where we jump into some news of the week. And Andy, the elephant in the room, and don't you dare say what I think you're thinking of saying, because I will come over there and I will kick you again. But
Hey, now we can
say it.
The elephant in the room is the fact that Denny Hamlin, he swears up and down every single week, every other driver's too aggressive, they're not being nice, blah, 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 blah. He does it to Kyle Larson this weekend, and boy, did the crowd let him know how much they hated him.
Oh, my gosh. And then he wants to defend it right in front of all the boos and all of that stuff coming down.
And then what's even funnier is he doesn't even park on the start-finish line like they normally do for the victory celebration on NBC or Fox. Instead, he comes down victory lane because I guarantee you there were probably some angry race fans ready to chuck their cans.
He would have got hit with the Miller bottle or Coors bottle, because I'm sure nobody in those stands were drinking Anheuser-Busch product.
Yeah, right. I highly doubt there was any Bud Light in that stand. I'll tell you what, man, there's been enough controversy in 2023 between Anheuser-Busch, Jason Aldean, Luke Combs, you name it, anybody and anybody that's been somewhat related to NASCAR in some regards, country music, beer sponsors, whatever the case might be. It's been enough this year. I'm about sick and tired of it.
Yeah, man, I hear you. But so Hamlin used his head, didn't park next to the fence. That makes that,
Yeah.
And just what a mess. But Larson doored Hamlin there on the restart and showed him that he was not happy about that. But really, he needs to go up and dump him this weekend at Richmond.
Well, you know what? The NASCAR chef actually put it best, because when John was thinking of his pick for the week, which we'll get into later on here in the show, John was like, Hamlin might be strong in that track, but I got a feeling he's going to eat something called the wall.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But, hey, he's still really strong at Richmond.
He is.
So if he can duck getting dumped, I think he might win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a chance. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here. Moving on, though, to the Xfinity Series here, and old tires coming into question? Not for Austin Hill. He gets himself a Pocono Xfinity win on those old tires, Andy.
Yes, he did. And John Hunter Nemechek's 33-point advantage in the driver standings shrank to 13. after the race. Everybody's just had a horrible race that was up top in the point standings. I do believe they only have 6 races left until the end of the regular season.
Yep, 6 races left for them. And if I'm not mistaken, the Craftsman Truck Series only has like 3 or 4 left.
3 or 4 left, yeah. And then this week coming up for them, they're going to be going road racing at Road America.
Yep, the trucks will be at Road America, but we gotta talk about something else that happened this past weekend in the Craftsman Truck Series as well, and that being that one Kyle Busch gets himself a Pocono victory, winning the mighty number 51 for the 100th KBM victory.
Yeah, I want to tell you something about what I call the mighty 51. When it was at Toyota, man, I'm like, all they did was cheat that truck up because nobody could touch the 51. Yep. Well, now it's not a Toyota anymore. It's a Chevy. Mm-hmm. And they still can't touch that mighty number 51. Doesn't mean they don't cheat it up. Just means that Kyle Busch is one hell of a driver, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And you might not like that out there listening to it, but it is what it is. Rowdy can wheel a race car.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he can wheel anything, anywhere, anytime, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at what was it last year? He got into the off-road world as well too. So I mean, that was something fun to see.
Yeah. Either way, you're looking at probably one of the greatest drivers in our generation with Kyle Busch. I mean, he's picked up pretty much 200 wins across multiple different platforms of NASCAR racing. I say if you put him in any vehicle like Kyle Larson, he could go out there and top 5 or win in any car you put him in. If you give him enough time to practice and everything like that.
Exactly.
So, of course, that's with anything. But, like and that's with both the Busch brothers. Yeah. Kurt was the same way growing up. And we saw that when he did the double at Indy and Charlotte a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure the same thing is going to happen with Kyle once he watches what Kyle Larson will do in 2024, that we'll start seeing more of that happening.
You know what? I don't doubt it at all. In fact, actually, something else too that I found interesting over the weekend is, obviously scrolling through the new X, aka what used to be known as Twitter, and looking over some stories that had hit the headlines over there. Rumbling has it that Kyle Busch might possibly be considering a NASCAR Cup Series retirement, move back down to the Truck Series, win a championship there, and officially give a championship to himself in all 3 of NASCAR's major series.
You think that's going to happen after Chevy just dumped as much money as they did in him to bring him over to RCR?
It was simply it was simply a rumor, but hey, you never know.
We do know this for sure. He does plan on racing with his son and the Truck Series at one point or another.
That'll be cool.
That part has been confirmed that Brexton is the rightful heir to the number 51. Now, granted, obviously that's still roughly about 13-ish years away, with Brexton only being about 8-9 years old. So he's still got a little bit of time.
13, heck, I bet you Harvick will have him out there at 17 whenever they can.
Well, I mean, hey, you never know.
Harvick, excuse me. I mean, Rowdy.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say this with Keelan, that kid's going to be going places pretty soon.
Oh, yes.
He just made his debut in X30 Senior or X30 Juniors this year at Charlotte not too long ago and put on a stellar drive. Him and Carter McMurray are going to be 2 of those young up-and-coming sons of NASCAR legends that we're going to be watching over the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah, and Jamie Mack no slouch in his own right either, so good stuff all the way around there.
Hey, man, and also, you heard it here, Brylan Earnhardt, you're going to hear that name more and more and more. Yep. Our own Bobby Dale's son, Brylan, he's been doing a bunch of winning and a bunch of racing, so we got a bunch of the next generations moving up with names that we're familiar with, so
very much so. And one other thing we can touch on here real quick, too, before we get ready to hit to our next 4 in fuel here, is viewership numbers are officially in from this past weekend at the NASCAR Cup Series level, and averaged a tad over 2.83 million viewers this past weekend, Andy, which was up 8% over last year's race, which had 2.62 million viewers on NBC Sports.
That's good.
Did you also get to see how many how much the RVs were filling up the track this year compared to 2019.
Oh yeah, there was definitely a buzz in the air at Pocono this year, unlike any I've seen at least in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and there was actually people in the stands for like the Xfinity race and the truck race,
and
not just the Cup race.
And based on the viewership numbers that came in from the Xfinity race as well, we're just a little over 964,000 viewers, up 4% from 2022. So even the Xfinity Series, not only did it have people in the stands, you actually had higher viewership numbers this year. So that was some good stuff there. The NTT IndyCar Series viewership numbers also in as well from this past weekend on the doubleheader over at Iowa. Had just a shy hair above 1.1 million viewers, up 31% from last year's combined doubleheader. And that 31% increase went from 853,000 last season.
That's crazy.
So go ahead, Taylor.
I wonder what the the SRX numbers were. Do you have those?
No, strangely enough, they don't have those out yet, but we'll be touching more on SRX when we come back after our next Foreign Fuel here, folks. We're going to step aside. We're going to take that next Foreign Fuel real quick here, but when we do come back, again, we're going to talk SRX, and there's been a news going around, Andy, that Bono has a new team he's going to be working for here.
Really cool.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
Visit our website at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content. Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv, Wayne Owens, Andy DeLay, and Taylor Burris hanging out with you this week here on the show. And Andy, you know what? We weren't sure if our guest was 100% here, but we have found out he definitely is with us this week.
Oh yeah,
and that being one Craftsman Truck Series driver, Nick Lights. Nick, welcome to Burning Rubber Radio, buddy.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on.
Man, it is our pleasure to have you on here. So, our understanding is that you have secured yourself a part-time deal with Young's Motorsports in the number 20 for the 2023 season here. So for folks who may not know, because obviously you know where you're at right now in your career, where did Nick Lights get his start?
First off, I'm super thankful to even be where I'm at right now. Wouldn't be there without my parents and stuff, and the help from Tyler Young and the whole Young's Motorsports group. But I started doing go-karts when I was, I think, 12 years old at my local track, Langley Speedway. You might have heard about it. It's, kind of a little popular around here, but no. I did go-karts there. Just moved up to the Legends cars, did those for a couple years, and then got in my full-size stock car around 2014. So I still didn't have a driver's license yet, and I was driving a full-size car, and made my NASCAR debut at Nashville last year.
Oh, very cool. Okay, and now I got to ask, with the Legends series, when you were doing racing there, were you racing here in the North Carolina area, like say around the summer shootout at Charlotte Motor Speedway, or what did you do as far as Legends racing was concerned?
We actually went all over with. I think it was the Past Series at the time. They did, I think, some type of Legends series as well, and we traveled all with them to like Orange County, Hickory, Wake County. So I mean, I was all over the place in North Carolina and Virginia as well, getting experience at these different tracks.
Man, I'll tell you what, Hickory Speedway holds a special place in my heart. That's not even half an hour down the road from where I am. So. Some really good stuff there. And Wake County Speedway, God knows me and Andy have been there up in the broadcast booth.
We've been broadcasting there and everything. Well, anyway, Nick, you're in the trucks. and you were telling me you have a deal with them part-time this year. What races you going to be in?
Well, I've done 2 of the 3 so far. The next one coming up is Homestead in October. We started with Kansas and Nashville, and I scored my career best with this is my 5th ever truck start, ever being in a truck, and scored my best finish of 19th at Nashville.
Very cool.
Back when that race happened, so it was pretty exciting.
And
I guess you're in the just keep the sheet metal straight portion right now, learn the truck and everything, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. We don't want to go out there and wreck anything, but that's already happened. My second truck start, actually, Richmond, that's coming up. This will be the 1-year anniversary. That's where I got taken out by somebody going a lap down. The number 42 truck. He's kind of got a reputation of being a little aggressive, but it was just one of those racing deals, that short track racing.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, yeah. So, I got to ask you, as I ask a lot of folks, the Craftsman Truck Series is it's been my favorite since 1995, and that's no joke. I'm huge on the Truck Series. I love the type of racing, the battling, the folks that are in it trying to claw their way up into the next level. Tell me, you said that at 14 you were in your your full-size stock car. And tell me the difference. How are these trucks different than, say, your late model or your super late that you're in?
I drove a super late model like 2 times way before I ever, got into the truck. I feel like the super it kind of has that same feel almost as a truck, but there's nothing compared to what an actual Craftsman Truck Series drives like to a late model. It's night and day difference, and it was a big adjustment trying to learn those before the race started.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. The back end of the truck doesn't have as much downforce. But, of course, practice. When I start thinking about practicing the stuff, that brings up iRacing. You do any of that to get started?
Oh, yeah. I got a big simulator right here. I'm actually sitting at it right now and getting some practice laps in for when I go to Homestead this October. So I'm always prepared, and when I'm not racing the truck, I still have my late model that I like to race around, and thinking about getting back into it at Langley for fun and crewing it myself and a couple buddies. So that should be exciting.
That is going to be very cool. And for all the folks out there, there's a bunch of folks that are iRacers that listen to us and everything. My question to you now, you, of course, been behind the wheel of the simulated truck. What's similar and what's not so similar between the real truck and the iRacing, other than the seat of the pants?
Right. Yeah, I'd say, that's a big part of it is the actual feel for it. But I think iRacing really does a great job of when they scan the tracks and how it simulates to the real world. When I wasn't racing, like when I had a big stretch in between races, I'd hop on iRacing, and whenever I got back into a real car, it was, it kept me sharp on the track and stuff. I think I, give it all the credit that iRacing has is to keep me sharp on the track and stuff like that. So not
here's a
pretend like I wasn't or anything,
Well, here's a beneficial question for you then, because like Andy was talking about, real feel, almost everything down to the seat of the pants here. Have you ever tried having something like a butt kicker or any of those real feel mods on your seat so that you can get more of that real feel butt in the seat kind of experience with iRacing?
Yeah, I know HMS Motorsports. I forget where they're at. I think Statesville, close to Statesville. They got this motion simulator that I tried out. I'm not too big of a fan of it, maybe because I've been doing iRacing for about 11 years now, and it's something totally different from what I'm used to, but I think it's close to with having that motion in it to feeling the real thing on the track, feeling the bumps and stuff.
It definitely opens up a lot of potential opportunities, because at that point, getting to feel those bumps, in your rear end, at least, when you get on track, you're like, wait a minute, I remember that.
Yeah, right.
And But, moving on now back again into more stuff with the Truck Series career here, the question then becomes is after Homestead coming up in October, have you already, I know you said you were thinking about getting back in your late model and doing stuff like at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, but are there any other plans for the Truck Series for 2024 moving forward already, or is that still something that's kind of to be determined at this point?
We're actually going over the plans right now for it. It's TBA as of right now, but I'd definitely like to get back in the truck. Who knows what holds for next year? I like Young's Motorsports and what Tyler has to offer. He's been a great help to us, and I'm kind of excited for what we got going on. And just get the Homestead first, and then we'll worry about the next year's plans for sure.
Most definitely. And as far as your late
you
model,
want to definitely get there first. And
yeah.
I do have while we're talking about, sponsorships and everything, because we all know all of us are racers. It takes money to go racing. And the best way to go racing is with other people's money. So how do folks find you, and who makes things happen for you right now if they want to get behind you, Nick? And who's helping you out at the moment?
Right now, I got my dad's company. He's a land survey. I actually work for them Monday through Friday, so I got a 9-to-5 job with them, and it's precision measurements. But any help we can get to whoever wants to be on a Craftsman truck, that would sound cool in itself, and be at Homestead Miami in October would be a great help, or even next year. So just getting as many names as you can on the truck or anything you race in would be a great help to further your career.
Well, here's a valuable question then at that point, because we've seen some drivers who will take mappings of their truck as far as like the sponsorship areas, like your hoods, your quarter panels, your B pillars, your deck lids, and things like that, and then post all the pricing and everything like that to go along with something like that. If somebody wanted to sponsor your truck through Young's, what's the average cost for sponsorship of say a deck lid?
Right. I'd have to look. I'd say close to 25 a race, roughly.
Yep.
2,500 or 25,000?
But 2,500. Sorry.
Okay.
I thought it would be closer to the 25,000.
Sorry.
I'm thinking probably Xfinity Series money, but man, the Truck Series is the best bang for your buck going right now. All the races are televised on Fox Sports 1. Everybody that's going to be at the track for the weekend's there, and it's you don't have to sit there and get sunburned for 4 hours, and you go there and eat dinner and watch the trucks and have a good time. Nick, I think you're into a good thing there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Very thankful for this opportunity that I have.
Well, and again, kind of circling back to the late model stuff here too. Not only do you have the great stuff going on with the Truck Series, but one has to wonder here, aside from like say Langley Speedway, what else is on tap for Nick Lights as far as like late models or anything else later on this year?
It's a good question. I think mostly it's just getting our 2024 plans squared away. If some things fall out, we could do some more late model racing for sure with the Cars Tour, or do some more truck races for next year.
Okay.
Nick, I'm going to get I want to see what you think here. With the new ownership, of course, Junior and Harvick and everybody getting into the Cars Tour, I personally think that's going to be a big deal. That's going to bring late model racing around to the mainstream. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I've already seen that transition happening. I was at the Hampton Heat Saturday at Langley Speedway, and to see all the flow racing, stuff like that, just be out there, it's like, when did this series become like the big time stuff? But it's the credit to Junior and Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick for bringing late model racing back up, stuff like that, making it exciting for the fans too.
Well, we can't forget Justin Marks either. Marks is kind of hiding in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But man, I tell you what, I'm excited for you, Nick. I'm excited for what you got coming up, and we definitely want to keep in touch with you here on Burning Rubber Radio. We'd love to have you check in, like maybe after Homestead, and put you out in front of the world and let you tell them how it went there.
Oh, yeah, that would that sounds pretty good.
All right. Well, we'll plan.
Well, wait a second. We got a little something that's going to help you out of Homestead. You didn't know this, okay? Until I mean,
oh, he's already done the Kyle Larson.
Oh my God, he did the Kyle Larson.
Oh man. So
my Lord.
This is going to be good. This is going to be good then. So Nick, we have a tradition on our show. Kenny Wallace started this back in 2008. He grabbed the mic out of Andy's hand and shouted 3 simple words: "Burning rubber, baby," at the top of his lungs. We've had every single driver do it. We've even had
Junior.
We've had Junior do it. We've had Kyle Larson do it. We've had everybody that we've had on this show. In fact, the cool part with Junior, he got the dogs barking out in the backyard with how loud he got. But the cool part of this tradition is that it gives you an extra 2/10 on the track, or a chance at a guaranteed race win. So you might have a good opportunity coming up at Homestead.
All you got to do is yell, "Burning rubber, baby."
Burning rubber, baby.
Woo!
He's going to win. Nick's going to win, baby.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is Nick Lights from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We're going to step aside. We're going to take another quick foreign fuel. And when we come back, Andy, that girl's fired up, baby. NASCAR chef John Dix is on tap next.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This is Burning Rubber Radio. Now let's get cooking in the kitchen with the NASCAR chef, John Dix.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv, Wayne Owens, Taylor Burris, Andy DeLay. We're all hanging out with you here this week on the show. And Andy, you know what time it is, brother. The NASCAR chef is in the house.
Time to eat, baby.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, chef?
Hey, guys, before I get started, I want to say congratulations to Taylor and Cindy. They got engaged this weekend, and I'm going to tell you something. I am so proud of them. I'm so happy for them.
Yep.
We are too, buddy. It's all of us here at Burning Rubber Radio are happy for both.
I think we need to all get together and go to Texas when they get married and do a show over there. I think
that'd be cool.
I think Sue, Cindy, and Robin will probably kick our butt, but we'll have a good time anyways.
Well, it depends on what we do.
Well, knowing the way that we tend to like to party a little bit, and Andy can.
I won't give any information on the show, but I'll tell y'all where we plan on doing our stuff.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to it. Anyway, man, let's eat.
Yeah, let's eat, brother. Here, NASCAR chef John Dix, what you got for us this week, buddy?
Well, guys, this time of year, everybody like Robin and I, we've got tomatoes, cucumbers, squash growing all over our porches, front and back, and we're going to do something light. We don't want to wind up being fat like Andy and Wayne and I, so we're going to do a tomato bacon pie.
Tomato bacon
pie, and you don't want to get fat.
Come on, Andy, give me a break.
Oh, I love it, buddy.
We're going to start with 1 9-inch deep dish frozen pie crust, 1 egg white, lightly beaten, 3 large tomatoes. You want to cut them into about 1/2-inch slices, some salt and pepper to taste, 1 cup of mayonnaise, 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, a half a teaspoon of dried basil, 2 green onions sliced, and 6 cups of cooked bacon. Want to crumble them up. Now, guys, this is very simple. You want to preheat your oven to 375 and poke some holes in the bottom of the pie crust with a fork. Brush the pie crust with your egg whites and let it sit for a few minutes. Now, but what you're going to do first, but you want to bake it for about 10 to 12 minutes. Then let it cool off, okay? Once it cools off, you want to arrange the tomato slices in the bottom of the crust and season it with your salt and pepper. Leave out a couple slices to put on the top. In a bowl, you want to mix together the mayonnaise, both your cheeses, the basil, and the green onions, and about half of the bacon. Spread that over the top of the tomatoes. Then you're going to place the leftover tomatoes you have slices on the top and sprinkle the rest of your bacon. You're going to put it back in the oven at 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes. And I'm going to tell you what, guys, this is a good, light, very tasty pie for you.
That sounds tasty.
I'm hungry already.
And actually, John, I ain't gonna lie to you. That kind of sounds almost very similar to the baked flatbread that I had out at Doc Ford's this past weekend in St. Petersburg.
That sounds good. Yeah, Rob and I have been going to this this brand new little country store around here that makes some fresh made jalapeno and cheese bread. And I'm gonna tell you something. Oh my God, guys, I'm gonna have to get that recipe and put it on the show. It is killing me.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
That really does sound good. And folks, by the way, you are looking at the recipe on screen right now here as exactly as the NASCAR chef has called it out to you here. But if you ever want to get a hold of John for whatever reason, just shoot him an email at racingtothegrill. That's RACING, the number 2, thegrill @gmail.com. Or you can send an email to the general mailbox at mail@brr.show. mail@brr.show. And with that said here, John, you know we can't let you in without those 3 famous words, brother.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
All right, and folks, take one last good look at the recipe there real quick for the week here. And the tomato bacon pie sounds, so delicious. And with that said here, folks, we're going to step aside. We're going to take ourselves a quick 2-tire change. And Taylor, you got your sim seat, you got your gloves on, you ready to rock and roll in the iRacers download?
Working on it right now. I'll get back to you in a minute.
Good Lord, son, you're supposed to already be ready. But we're gonna go ahead and take ourselves another quick gas and go. And when we come back, it's the iRacers download with Taylor Burris.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Wayne Owens, Andy DeLay, and Taylor Burris hanging out with you this week on the show. And Taylor, it is that time for us to jump into the iRacers download. You weren't ready before the break, but I hope you got your sim seat ready and your gloves on, and it's time to drive, buddy.
Yeah, it's time to drive, and I got to say, starting off yesterday, we ran the Monday Night Racing event, and I came so close to taking home my first M&R win, but fate did not see it in the cards for me to get the victory.
Zach didn't wreck you, did he?
Huh? No, someone else did. Coming to the checkered, going into turn 3 at Daytona, had plenty of room, wanted to work with him, but he decided to just Yeah, Daytona stuff.
Decided to be
let's
a
move
buzz,
on
huh?
to the professionals of the world of iRacing. Of course, iRacing World of Outlaws Butt Kicker Late Model Series was over at Cedar Lake, and Blake Majulis takes his second win of the season, 2 in a row for him over Evan C., as the two will continue to battle out for the 2023 World of Outlaws Championship. It was a little bit of a topsy-turvy one, a couple of drivers having some issues, and some ending up on their roof, such as the driver of the number 99 of Chase Hardy. Caden Honeycutt also didn't have the best of runs either, but it's still Evan C. over Blake Majulis for the championship as they get ready to head to the next round at Port Royal Speedway, one of the newest dirt tracks on the iRacing platform, as we'll see the drivers battle out on Monday, July 31st. Also, the iRacing Off-Road World Championship heads to Crandon once again, and it's going to be another exciting high-flying action as they head to the Big House. Tune in, of course, on Wednesday, August 2nd to see the biggest racing action of these drivers battling it out for drivers across the off-road racing world. And, of course, the drivers for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, they're not going to go to the Tricky Triangle. They're actually going to head to the Magic Mile of New Hampshire on Tuesday, July 25th. A lot of drivers are looking to see if they have what it takes to go head-to-head. Of course, we saw last season Casey Kerwin take home the victory here at the Magic Mile. So drivers are going to be seeing how things will play out, especially with only 2 races left to go in the regular season, as Pocono is the season finale of the regular season on August the 2nd. So we'll see who comes out on top between these 2 races left and who makes it into the 2023 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series playoffs.
Well, I'll tell you what, that should prove rather interesting. Who, if you had to pick, though, Taylor, who's your money on?
That's a tough one. Actually, I'm doing Denny Hamlin did that bracket challenge type deal, and currently I'm doing my own bracket challenge with the help of Logitech. They did a bracket challenge for all the drivers, and looking pretty good so far. So I'll let you know when we get closer to it.
All right. Well, we'll just have to see what happens over the next 2 races at New Hampshire and Pocono for the eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola. Or did I just say e-racing?
Yes, you did, and you should be ashamed. And I'm sorry for all of our people here in iRacing who heard that. We'll have to talk to our producer a little bit more.
Yeah, the eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series, and so some good stuff all the way around the door there for those guys. But with that said here, folks, we're going to step aside. We're going to take one final 4 in fuel. And, Andy, when we come back here, we have got some news of the week to talk about, including old Bono Mannion getting into a new team, Joseph Newgarden getting a win, and, Max Verstappen once again dominates. We'll be talking about it when we come back right after this.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Wayne Owens, Andy DeLay, and Taylor Burris hanging out with you this week here on the show. And boys, we gotta get into some final news of the week here real quick, rapid fire style. Before we get ready to jump into picks and all that other fun stuff for the week here.
Before you go, man, who won the SRX race?
Oh, got to talk about the Rocket Man himself, Ryan Newman, getting a win this past Thursday at the SRX Series. Second race at Stafford Motor Speedway since Thunder Road got rained out and due to all the flooding up in the Vermont area. The SRX Series was able to go back to Stafford for yet another week. Tony Stewart didn't fare so well, though, this past week, though.
Yeah, he got dumped, didn't he? Finished like 11th or something?
Something like that, yeah. And but good stuff for the Rocket Man to get himself a win over in the SRX series. In fact, there's rumblings about that we may possibly be getting the Rocket Man on the show here in the next couple of weeks.
That's what I heard, man. We got a bunch of stuff, man. Kind of partner up with Rick Ware Racing here a little bit. That'd be pretty cool.
Yep. Got a hold of an old buddy that does some PR work for Rick Ware, and might have some pretty classy drivers coming on here in the next couple of weeks. But speaking of other things, rapid fire style here, going off the line here, Andy, for some news of the week, and that being one, Kevin Bono Mannion has officially been named the interim crew chief for Ty Dillon in the Spire Motorsports number 77 NASCAR Cup Series Chevrolet. And it'll begin this weekend at Sunday's Cookout 400 at Richmond Raceway. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out where the crew chief change come from. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see, we really want the car to get going, and unfortunately we had to make a change.
Well, they've been running like shit for the last freaking whole season here.
Yeah, they have not been doing as good as they could. Now, Corey LaJoie, on the other hand, I'll tell you what, Corey's been having some pretty good runs, but this past weekend, him and another friend of the show, Ryan Preece, got into it post-race at Pocono. And, folks, if you saw the video on social media, Preece was not too happy with Corey LaJoie.
No, man, that was pretty good. Those guys I thought were going to come to blows. But
I had a feeling, but in the same way, LaJoie was still in his car, so it'd be kind of hard to kind of fight the guy from inside the car. Yeah, no, Preece snowboarding, climbs out the car. He's like, "You stupid son of a bleep, 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 bleep." And just
oh well,
he was going off something fierce. So we'll just have to see what happens this weekend coming up at Richmond, whether or not retaliation may be on tap. More news of the week here, though, moving over to the NTT IndyCar Series, and that being that Joseph Newgarden officially ties A.J. Foyt and Al Unser with a 5th straight oval win this past weekend at Iowa, Andy.
Joseph Newgarden, he's the real deal, buddy.
Yep. And with this, it's his 6th career victory at Iowa Speedway, and swept the doubleheader weekend, the Hy-Vee IndyCar Series weekend over at Iowa. And there's something going around town here that they should rename the town Newgarden, Iowa.
I think for real, man.
I mean, it's not a bad thought. I mean, all things considered. And but moving on now over here to Formula One, and that being one, Max Verstappen is unstoppable once again and wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Man, there is no stopping Red Bull Racing this year, just like last, Andy.
I guess. I don't watch it that much, but man, Verstappen, all of a sudden they just rose to the top. Now, Taylor, you know this stuff really good. Does it have to do with that rule change that kind of hampered and put a stop to Mercedes all of a sudden, or what's the deal?
Honestly, Mercedes is just struggling to get around the new car, and there's a lot of controversy going on right now with regards to Red Bull, with their over budgeting and not staying within the caps costs of racing budgets for the last couple of seasons. There's a bunch of controversy behind that, but honestly, just the Red Bull has been able to do a lot of more better things compared to, of course, the Mercedes team. And of course, with a brand new package coming in 2026, and also the talks of 2 brand new teams coming into Formula One in 2024, 5, and 6, you're looking at a lot of new things coming in on board that could change the entire complexion.
Yep, most definitely. So, well, we'll just have
one of those teams actually is an American team, and I'm not meaning like a Haas F1 team. I am talking a full-blooded American team with an American manufacturer.
Interesting.
Wow, killer.
So we'll have to wait and see what happens there coming up here in a couple of years, and who knows, maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. Also moving on now over getting ready to start the World of Dirt here, Andy, and that being the USAC Series officially has named their new Hall of Fame class for 2023. Their 11th annual Hall of Fame class includes names like champion driver Bobby East, safety innovator Ted Hallebrandt, champion driver Tracy Hines, Television producer for the USAC series, Terry Lingner rather. President and general manager / editor, media general manager Bill Marvel, and team owners and contributors, the Wilkie family as well. So some really good stuff for the USAC Sprint Car Series and everybody involved in the world of USAC as far as the new Hall of Fame class for 2023. And keeping it out on the dirt here, and that being one that Brandon Shepard out in the Lucas Oil Late Model Series gets himself a big win this past weekend. And Brandon Shepard held off challenges from Bobby Pierce and Hudson O'Neal to win his second career Silver Dollar Nationals presented by My Race Pass on this past Saturday night at Houston Speedway. And with that, Andy, he takes home a check of $53,000.
Dang, man. That's sweet for on the dirt.
Yeah, some really good stuff as far as dirt racing goes, especially for Brandon Shepard. Rico Abreu, another name that we actually haven't talked about in quite some time here, invades the Grove and takes home a $20,000 winning payday.
Wow. Now, who's Rico driving for this year? Is he
if I'm
still
not
doing stuff for Stewart?
No, he's not doing stuff for Stewart. I think he drives under Casey Kane's team.
That's what it is, Casey Kane's team. Yeah. Yeah, it's odd because Rico, you used to hear a lot about him, but that's good he's back at E1.
Yep, some good stuff there, too. And then one last note we can make on the dirt here real quick before we touch on some stuff coming up with the NHRA this weekend. At the Valvoline Ironman Late Model Northern Series made its first visit of the season to Atomic Speedway for the track's summer shootout event. And a name that we love to talk about on this show, and that being Nick Hoffman, wins the streak at the summer shootout this past weekend at Atomic Speedway.
Good job, Nick.
Yeah, some really proud of Nick too, because after everything last year with the crash, and everybody wondering is he going to be able to get back to racing, everything like that, he proved rather handily that he was ready to recover and get back out on the racetrack, and he's still out there just winning away.
Good for him.
Can't go wrong with that.
Nope, you can't go wrong with it at all. And this past weekend here, the NHRA was up in Seattle, Washington, or Kent, Washington, more appropriately, for their next round of the Mellow Yellow NHRA Championship Racing Series here. And four-time NHRA Top Fuel champion Steve Torrence got himself back in the points lead on Sunday at Pacific Raceway with his first win of the 2023 season, powering past Doug Coletta in the final round of the 34th annual Flavor Pack NHRA Northwest Nationals. Tim Wilkerson got the win in Funny Car. Gage Herrera won Pro Stock Motorcycles. And trying to see what Torrance's time was here. His 54th career win, going 3.94 seconds flat at 289.26 miles per hour, Andy.
That's flying, buddy. That's just something else. Now, Gage is going to be able to get the first pick in the special deal they got coming up at Sonoma this week with the motorcycles, right?
Yep. Gage will have the first pick coming up in the All-Star Call-Out this weekend for the Pro Stock Motorcycles, and there's only 8 drivers that are taking part in the Pro Stock Motorcycles All-Star Call-Out this weekend coming up in wine country down in Sonoma, California. So do be paying attention to see who those 8 drivers are as far as what goes on there. But it is that time of the show here, Andy, where we get ourselves over to picks for the week. And again, this weekend we're going to Richmond, but for some, and I don't know why you decided to go this way, but you have pick number 1, my friend.
That's right, the hamster, Denny Hamlin. He's going to get it done. That's his track. If he's going to win, it's going to be there. And if he doesn't get dumped.
I got a severe feeling that he is going to probably get himself dumped very hard into the outside retaining wall. And I'm sorry, not sorry, but I may just kind of laugh about it along with everybody in the crowd.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But my pick is the guy who I think is going to hopefully be the guy that dumps him into the outside retaining wall, and that be one Kyle Larson. So we're going to see if...
That would be nice, though, wouldn't it?
It would be a great level of retribution for this past weekend at Pocono. And then Taylor Burris, you were up next.
I'm going to go with another Toyota driver who's been on a bit of a roll right now, Martin Truex Jr. Keep an eye on that number 19. I think he is going to be one of the championship favorites to watch.
Yep, definitely going to be a good one to watch for the championship contentions coming up here in about 6 weeks. And then Zachary Mertis, he actually got a pick in this week. I'm surprised. He is going to go with Hendrick Motorsports and number 24, William Byron, who didn't have much luck either this past weekend at Pocono. So hopefully he'll be able to make up a little bit of lost ground from Pocono at Richmond this weekend. And NASCAR chef John Dix, you are up next, my friend.
Well, guys, I agree with Andy a little bit. Denny runs good at that racetrack, but I think he's going to have some help on the wall. Mm-hmm. And I'm pulling for our boy Kevin Harvick.
All right, and you know what's funny is I think that's the first time this season, Andy, he's actually picked from his own team.
That's true.
like where's the forever love at, John? Like that's the first time all season.
I know, Wayne, but I got to pick who I think is really going to win the race. And this year, everybody I picked has started off good, but it's kind of like they have bad luck or something. I don't know. But anyways, I'm pulling for the 4 car.
Well, I mean, considering Taylor won again last week with Hamlin, I mean,
yeah, he's been on a smoking.
Yeah, he's been on a tear this year with picks. So, and
Dirty Modo gets you good picks to know who to pick for, who to watch for.
Well, that's true too. And with that said, here, Bobby Dale Earnhardt also got a pick in this week. Shocker. And he went with Chase Elliott.
He thinks he's going to make his first win.
I guess he's hoping Chase does something on the short track up in Richmond, Virginia this weekend here. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But with that said here, Andy, we have got to get out of here for another week of Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. For our guests this week from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Nick Lights, and for Andy DeLay, Taylor Burris, the NASCAR chef John Dix, Bobby Dale Earnhardt, Zachary Mertis, Jeremy Taylor, everybody who's been a part of the show wherever, whenever. We love you guys. And until next week, Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of the Performance Motorsports Network in association with the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina. This week's episode was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Yeah. Burning Rubber Radio may also be downloaded from our podcast site, pmn2.com, or from Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts. The opinions expressed on this show are those of the hosts and guests and do not reflect those of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be with the express written permission of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group.